Greetings and welcome. This is the Gadget 360 show and my name is Rajiv. Makhni. Today again, epic show, iPad Pro with the M1 chip review. Then we'll talk about something very important, traceability in messages and how that affects you. Then E3 2021, Fire-Boltt smartwatch. So like I said, it's chock-a-block. It's Gadget 360. Let's get started. Let's start off today with a very important topic. It's also a topic and a subject that a lot of you have been writing to us, maximum number of questions that have been sent in by all of you to us. So I said, let's take this up today. That the Indian government is asking for all messages to be traceable on messaging platforms. So what does this mean exactly for you? Is this good for you? How does it help? What's the purpose behind it? You know, this is actually a very simple topic, needlessly made very complex by a lot of people. So let me break it down. So the Indian government wants traceability of messages, as in who's the first person to send a message, the originator. Seems simple enough, right? And also very helpful. Actually, no. To make this happen, the fundamental privacy of your messages must be broken. That is, end-to-end encryption of messages must end for this to happen. So is it a violation of your rights to privacy? Does this open secure messaging system to hackers? Are your messages no longer secure? Will the service provider now have to, track billions and billions of messages a day? So a lot of questions come up out here. Is it a violation of your rights to privacy? Does this open up that secure messaging system that we all use now to hackers, criminals? Are your messages no longer really secure the way they were before? Will the service provider now have to track billions of messages a day? Will you be confident enough to send messages like you are right now in this situation? I go deep into this story on the Cell Guru show. Do catch that show this week.
With the release of Windows 11 happening soon, Microsoft has announced that it will retire Windows 10 Home and Pro versions by October 14, 2025. Post this, the company will drop support for technical or security updates on Windows 10.
Our top story today is the iPad Pro with the M1 chip. So, not much has changed outside, but it is the first iPad with the M1 SoC. Improved battery efficiency. We now have a 1 terabyte variant. We didn't get any accessories yet with it, but it was very easy to work on this iPad. Solid build quality as always. And I think it's a must-have for people like media designers, people that want an iPad that actually is a semi-replacement. I can never call a tablet a replacement, a semi-replacement for a desktop. So what's different from a typical iPad? What's different from an iPad that doesn't have a M1 chip? Let's take a look at our top story.
After months of speculation and online leaks, Apple finally introduced the M1-Powered iPad Pro. A heavyweight in the tablet division, the iPad Pro already enjoys substantial accolades, but the addition of the M1 chip promises to escalate the performance to new heights. So today on the show, we review the latest iPad Pro and find out if we can finally ditch our laptops and live with a tablet. Aesthetically, the all-new iPad looks quite familiar to its predecessor. The blocky design in its silver finish looks stunning and maintains the premium appeal that you expect from an Apple product. The aluminium build of the machine feels robust, and that tablet, irrespective of its size, is fairly easy to hold. Upgrading the USB Type-C port on board, the new iPad Pro supports Thunderbolt 3 and USB 4. The presence of just one port on a device of this caliber is a bit odd, but then at the heart of it, the iPad is still a tablet. Once signed in, we're greeted with the gorgeous 12.9-inch Liquid Retina XDR display on board. Initially introduced in iMacs, this display technology by Apple improves the experience on every device by the brand. And the case is no different with the iPad Pro. Supporting a maximum brightness of 1600 nits, the panel produces rich colors and optimum contrast ratio. The black levels are satisfactory and watching content on the latest iPad Pro is an absolute bliss. What does the trick for this panel is the LED backlighting that evenly illuminates the panel and avoids any ugly pixelation. Now, the iPad Pro is the only device from the brand that supports a 120Hz refresh rate, and we can see why it's important. The response time and feedback on the iPad have never been a problem, but a 120Hz refresh rate enhances the experience exponentially. We used the iPad Pro extensively during our testing, and the display never missed out on any of our commands. If you are into graphic designing and your work requires great detail, then this display can definitely back up your endeavors, especially if you're using an Apple Pencil. Apple provides a 4-speaker audio setup on the iPad Pro that boasts of Dolby Atmos support. Fairly loud, the speakers complement the display efficiently. It's time we talk about the biggest upgrade on the iPad Pro, the M1 chip. Considered to be a leap for tablet computing, Apple revealed the performance upgrades in their signature style with their keynote. And after our initial testing, it is safe to say that the iPad stands true to all these claims. These changes make their presence felt, especially when you're working with heavy renders and media files. Be it editing pictures or exporting videos, the iPad Pro just might force you to switch substantial workloads from your PC or Mac. While this is going to make a difference for content creators, generic users might not find a big change in performance. Yes, the performance for daily tasks has improved over the outgoing variant, but the changes are not convincing enough for an average user, especially if you're already using the 2020 iPad Pro. Unlike the M1-Powered MacBooks that enjoy access to iPad apps, the M1 iPad Pro cannot use MacBook apps. That doesn't mean that the iPad OS lags behind. It is smooth, easy to understand, and comes with its own signature features. However, we do feel that Apple is yet to tap the full potential of the M1 chip on board in this tablet. Apple offers multiple storage options for the iPad Pro. The one with us comes with 1 TB capacity and takes care of all the heavy renders and files we deal with. For the optics, Apple provides a multi-camera setup on the back with a LiDAR sensor. First things first, the camera sensor on board delivers beautiful pictures. The bokeh effect is spot on and the wide-angle lens does add to the experience. Moving on, the selfie camera works well, and yes, the pictures are worthy of your Instagram feed. After improving the battery life for MacBooks, the M1 chip does have a noticeable impact on the mileage of iPad Pro as well. The iPad Pro lasts well over 2 days on a single charge for moderate to heavy usage. And with that, it is time for the verdict. The M1 iPad Pro sets a benchmark when it comes to tablet computing and further bridges the gap between a tablet and a laptop. Starting at 99,900 rupees, this is an expensive device, but it's meant to be a healthy upgrade if you work in multimedia. That being said, we would suggest buyers wait till there is a well-developed buffet of apps that can utilize its complete potential.
And now to that time of the year where almost every gamer, and now think who's not a gamer, everybody goes absolutely crazy. The Electronic Entertainment Expo went virtual this year. It was cancelled last year due to COVID, but this year they gave a platform for interactive entertainment, video games, new announcements, big ones. Xbox revealed exclusive titles. Xbox game drought is now over. Announcements by Square for new titles. New Avatar game revealed, a spin-off of the James Cameron movie. So lots happened at E3 2021. This is our report.
After being cancelled in 2020 because of the coronavirus, Electronic Entertainment Expo, famously known as E3, made a virtual comeback this year. Incepted back in 1995, E3 is the biggest convention dedicated to interactive entertainment. From video games to VR and new engines for developers to build games on, E3 is the convention that every gaming enthusiast looks forward to. So without any further ado, here are the biggest headlines from E3 2021. Xbox started their innings with a bang this year. When Microsoft acquired Bethesda, there were rumors that the legendary gaming studio would be making games exclusively for Xbox. These rumors came to life with Bethesda and Xbox showing up together at E3 and dropping their latest lineup of video games. One of the biggest highlights from the roster was the announcement of Starfield. The game, set in space, follows in the footsteps of Skyrim. The reveal trailer doesn't give away much of the plot but assures that it is a story that defines hope, humanity, and our greatest mystery. There was no official gameplay in the trailer though. The game is slated to be released on the 11th of November 2022. Another news that made headlines from the Xbox camp was the Halo Infinite multiplayer reveal trailer. Highly anticipated as the latest installment in the Halo franchise, this video game will carry a free-to-play multiplayer mode. Xbox also confirmed that they are pushing to release the game in the second half of 2021. Another Microsoft exclusive game that turned heads this year was Forza Horizon 5. Considered to be one of the best racing games to ever be released, the latest Forza Horizon promises to be bigger and better. What makes this even better is the fact that it will be available on Game Pass for free from day one. Before we close the Xbox chapter, we have to talk about the new Xbox mini fridge. The tiny refrigerator based on Xbox Series X will hit retail stores this holiday season. Rocking an Xbox logo and signature green lighting, the fridge will be able to hold 10 cans of our favorite beverage at any given time. However, Xbox did not reveal the price of this refrigerator just yet. Trying to bounce back from their setback with Marvel's Avengers, Square Enix revealed promising new titles at E3 this year. The loudest reactions came for the announcement of a brand new Guardians of the Galaxy game. The single-player game involving Marvel's second favorite team-up will see the player taking on the role of Star-Lord. While the game will feature the ensemble cast of characters, the players will be restricted to play only as Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill. Still trying to rejuvenate the fortune for Avengers, the studio also revealed new footage for the upcoming Black Panther DLC. Set up in Wakanda, the trailer teases new details like the main antagonist, Claw. Admittedly, the gameplay and action set pieces do look promising. The expansion pack is slated to go live in the second half of 2021. EA Games made headlines even before E3 started with some major announcements. The veteran gaming studio broke the internet when they revealed the trailer for Battlefield 2042. The latest game in the highly successful Battlefield franchise had a lot of fun elements in its trailers. The gameplay showed players facing lethal natural events like tornadoes and sandstorms. The game is set in a dystopian future where the world is facing rising sea levels and is on the brink of collapse. The game will be released on multiple platforms, namely PlayStation, Xbox, and yes, even PC. Another EA announcement was the remastered version of the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The next-gen update will allow players to relive the adventure of Cal Kestis, a young Jedi on PS5 and Xbox Series X. To close this segment, it is time we reveal a game that no one expected to see at E3. We are talking about Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. The game based on James Cameron's magnum opus of the same name can be considered the announcement of the year. Developed by Ubisoft, yes, they do take a break from making Assassin's Creed, the Avatar title does look promising. For one, it is being developed on Ubisoft's own Snowdrop engine. The game will revolve around NAVI, who sets out on a journey across the western frontier of Pandora. Players can expect to see new character arcs, Easter eggs, and if we're lucky, some reference to the much-awaited Avatar sequels. The gamers' enjoyment of this announcement was diminished slightly though, since the game will not be released on previous gen consoles. It will come out on PS5, Xbox Series X and PC. Yes, you can consider building PCs now more seriously.
Let's take a quick break right now on the Gadget 360 show. When we come back, so much more. And now let's move on to our review of a smartwatch at a very good price and very interesting features. The Fire-Boltt BSW 003 360 smartwatch. Big name, big features. Budget smartwatch by Fire-Boltt. Nice round dial, looks pretty premium. Loaded with a lot of sensors. There's an app for connectivity that is their own. Comes for a price of less than 4,000 rupees. But there is a lot of competition in this market now. Where does this one stand?
With more and more smartwatches coming under the budget-friendly tab, it becomes increasingly difficult to track the best of this category. One such product that grabbed our attention recently is Fire-Boltt's BSW003, aka the 360 smartwatch. So what makes this wearable device so special? Let's find out. As the name suggests, the Fire-Boltt 360 supports a round dial. The smartwatch looks rather neat and the aesthetics are better than what we usually see in budget devices. For starters, we get a silver trim on the dial, which adds a solid character to the profile. We were also impressed with the build quality on offer since the watch feels solid. At just 51 grams, it is lightweight and comfortable to wear. With an IP67 rating, you can also wear this watch comfortably for swimming. Initially, we found the straps to be a little bit on the harder side, but over time the problem resolved itself. Waking up the display, we get a 1.3-inch HD display on the front. Better than previous Fire-Boltt display panels, this screen is brighter and more vibrant. The color reproduction is more natural, and with optimum illumination, a user can look at it under direct sunlight as well. Fortunately, the panel works as good as it looks. Tap or swipe, the display was quick to respond and we faced hardly any glitches. Overall, a pretty good experience. Now it's time to talk about the most noticeable facelift that we've seen on a Fire-Boltt device, the UI. Dramatically improved and impressively upgraded, Fire-Boltt's efforts are visible this time around. The animation on the watch is more fun and intuitive, and we learn something new whenever we tap on any icon. The brand is aggressively promoting the rotating dial menu on the watch, so we had to check it out. While it does work and it looks aesthetically appealing, there is a learning curve to it. But once a user gets a hang of it, there's no going back. Adding some fresh elements to a usually generic interface, we also get video games on this smartwatch. It is a bit difficult to enjoy them given the screen size, but the addition of these apps is impressive. Additionally, there are regular features like watch faces and quick settings. Fire-Boltt has loaded this smartwatch with all the trending sensors one can imagine. But do they work? Well, almost. Like almost every device in this segment, the SpO2 sensor on the watch does not provide reliable results. The sleep monitor performs better, but the round dial might discourage users from wearing the device to bed. It is the heart rate monitor that works well and in sync with our activities. There are multiple sports modes on offer, all of which work well. A user can track their data for these activities from DAFit app. The app does not have any changes from our previous interaction and provides a relatively similar experience. From tracking data to customizing the smartwatch, a user can access everything from here. The battery life of the 360 smartwatch is impressive. The watch gives a mileage of 4 days on a single charge for moderate to heavy use. This can be further amplified if we don't track our activities throughout the day. And it's time for the verdict. The Fire-Boltt 360 smartwatch is the company's attempt at making a near-perfect budget wearable, and they've pretty much achieved it all here. It looks great, comes with an intuitive UI and brings in great value. At 3,999 rupees, you can expect serious performance from the smartwatch.
That then is the Gadget 360 show for this week, but next week we've got some epic stuff for you. I mean, the kind of stuff I have for you, you are literally going to have your jaw drop to the floor. My guarantee. See you next week.